Hello, beautiful souls. Lori Reising here, star channeler, transformational coach, and sacred guide. Happy second Capricorn full moon in a row. It's happening on July 21st at 6:17 a.m. Eastern Time. It's happening at 29 degrees of Capricorn. Now, whenever we have a full moon, that means that the sun is opposing the moon, also known as illuminating the moon. So the sun in Cancer is illuminating the energy of Capricorn in our emotional world, which is interesting because Cancer is the sign of emotion and heart and home. Capricorn is much more emotionally detached. It's the sign of time and maturation and sometimes restriction and challenge in order to master something. It's like physical mastery because it's ruled by Saturn, and Cancer is ruled by the moon. So you see where we're moving here. It's like we're weaving this really great web between the two. And it's almost like what I'm feeling is that they're being flipped on their heads. It's almost like they're inviting the other to take on the energy and refine it in a way that they can't because they're too subjective. I hope that's making sense. So this full moon is extra, extra. It's very potent because we had the first Capricorn full moon on June 21st at 1 degree of Capricorn. Then we had a very activated Cancer new moon in between the two. And now we're at the anaretic degree of Capricorn, which is the critical degree, which is like the booyah. It's like, we're going to make this happen now. It's the culmination of the energy. So what I keep talking about is that the first Capricorn full moon really introduced us in a new way to an awareness of the systems and structures in our life that aren't working. Then, as we slid into the Cancer new moon, I say slid into it, but a lot of us got hammered with a family wound, a home wound, a heart wound that was very big to navigate. I know this because I've seen it in my membership communities and I've lived the experience. I had a wound come up that has been moving through my cells for 18 years. And it came to its culmination in this Cancer new moon. I'm going to be sharing a podcast all about it. So definitely watch for that to drop, hopefully within the next few weeks. But that's the kind of energy that this is by that Cancer new moon and our hearts and our homes. Like, what is our home? Who is our soul family? And how do we relate to the family that we may not actually be able to relate to energetically, or we might not be in that frequency? So this is really asking you to make decisions and declarations in your life and find the frequencies that you are going to match, right? These are the new systems and structures that we're creating. And that really is where we went to the second Capricorn full moon, is how are you going to do it different with all of that Capricorn determination, with the confidence, with the, it's like Capricorn is earth. It's a feminine sign and it's earth. It's an interesting one because it almost like it just is, because it's so physical. It's rooted in the 3D matrix and reality. And so it's, it just doesn't want to venture out of what it already knows. Yet it's almost like undeniable at this point what happened in the last month with our hearts and with our new consciousness that has come to the table. It's like come to the revelatory space. We have to give Capricorn more, like almost like props or more trust to go deeper and to go further. And that's where I'm saying it feels like these energies are being flipped on the head, right? Because it's like Capricorn can offer Cancer more structure and less emotion in order to take the steps to find the roadmap in the new way, because it hasn't been working the way you've been trying. And it's like we've done it enough at this point that the wound surfaces maybe in a different experience or a different energy. And it's finally like, you know what? I can't do it again. So this has to be the time. It has to be the time that I crack open that I break through to break free, that I fully embrace it, I fully open. And so that's where Cancer's offering Capricorn this space of trusting the heart, trusting the depths, and trusting the feeling, and trusting that like deep internal connection. Now, I also want to talk about anger with these two energies because a lot of times with the Capricorn signature, we're going to feel like a sadness or a longing, right? And the Capricorn energy is going to come in with an anger or a frustration. With Saturn ruling Capricorn, that can often be the theme of Saturn. And so I want Cancer to come in and say, hey, Capricorn, feel it this time. Dive in. Like, do not be afraid anymore. Do not bypass it. Stop looking at the goal and be in the unfolding of this. Now, I have a perfect example of this because somebody in my membership had something coming up, right? Something deep, something scary. And we started working with it. And we did some tools and techniques that I often offer online when I'm not working one-on-one as embodiment practices. Now, those embodiment practices for her, it like gave her the Band-Aid. It gave her enough reprieve that she felt lighter, she felt better. It's like she came back into an alignment for that day. And so she sent me a message, and these are the signs, right? She sent me a message and said, hey, I'm actually feeling lighter. Do I still need to do the rage hole? Which is what I was like, this is the time to dig the rage holes, to really get it out. Like sometimes, oftentimes, just the act of screaming, of singing, of moving the energy without being able to pinpoint it or, think our way through it will actually like create enough movement within the body and the cells that it like releases it. It opens it up. And then we have to be available in the present moment to grab it, to be curious about it, to work with it, and to transform it. So I was like, yeah, still go do the rage hole. And she did. And it took her so much deeper. She got to the root. She brought up layers of anger that only doing the surface work that we did would have appeased, but it also would have kept her swimming in it. It would have kept it coming back up. So that opened a space, an invitation for her to start exploring the root, the layers in the root that just the screaming was able to release, because our minds are very strong. They're very powerful. And if they fear a feeling, and if they fear the possibility of what that means to open it up, because of we've got all the excuses, right? Because we think it's going to be a long drawn out process. When we actually let ourselves fully feel whatever it is that's running under the surface, that's like living in our subconscious, that it creeps up, goes back down, creeps up, goes back down, because we don't have time to deal with that right now. Make the time and feel the ease, because that is our superpower, is that when we create a new roadmap, which is the Capricorn energy, into the heart, the true feeling and our full wholeness, our full authenticity, we actually finally clear it. And when we finally clear it, we find energetic coherence. So I've been sitting a lot with this in the last few days because I've had a deep revelation, because I knew that when we came to the second Capricorn full moon, this was going to be, how do we create the new structures and systems? Like, how do we find the confidence to go forward and take the steps into them? And here it is. Here it is. This is how spirit is so divine. I was out picking mulberries yesterday, and I was talking to a friend who's been going through the system, right? The judicial system, trying to get a divorce, trying to liberate herself, trying to protect her children, paying loads of money to a lawyer who doesn't really do much, right? Because nothing shifts. It's a very linear, this is a Capricorn energy, a linear, slow movement that doesn't really take the energy, the heart, or even the evidence into consideration. It just keeps running on this wheel that it's created and it thinks works. I don't know if it's ever worked, but it just becomes like this red tape and this paper trail. And it's like dotting the I's and crossing the T's, but not actually being in the unique experience of the humans that are involved and basing the outcome on that. And this is where we've gone so wrong, is that we've created a one size fits all. And that's why we've become so much more fractured as a collective and as individuals. So this can be applied to our medical system, our political system, our education system, our science system, and sometimes even our religious system. They are created to keep us swimming in them. They are created not for liberation. They're created for survival. And in survival energy, we're all contributing to that. And when we fully give ourselves over to these systems, believing that that's the only way, it will keep us out of our power. And then that's the environment that keeps offering the same reactions and responses over and over and over. So what came to me as I was thinking about all the money that she's been spending on her lawyer, right, for years. And what came to me was like, when we finally get to this place where we truly believe that we are the system, that we can change anything in our physical world when we come into energetic coherence, full energetic coherence, not just a desire of the heart, but then the mind operating in everything that it sees that's imbalanced, all the reactions that it's taken in, all of the evidence that it's gathered for years and years to get to this point. That basically the mind bracing for whatever just happened to happen again, that will always lead to more of it. So this space of dropping into being able to hold the enormity of our ability to be the system, to be the miracle, to change our physical reality when we are fully aligned with everything, with our heart, with ourselves, with our belief, with our soul, with spirit, with our mind. This is going to be an eradication of the ego, because when we come down to it, we can label it a lot of different things, but oftentimes it's the ego that doesn't want to let go in some way or another. It's going to come down to unbelievable amounts of trust in this divine process and this unfolding, and every one of our choices to come in and have these experiences. It's going to come to welcoming the triggers, welcoming the feeling. We cannot control our lives anymore or control the lives of our children in a way that we've been doing it, because that creates a squeeze on the energy. And in that place of constriction, there's no room for expansion. There's no room for miracles to show up and happen. So I just thought if she took a fraction of that money that she spent over the last years, while this is happening even, and actually invested in herself, in this, in a mentorship, in a membership, in a retreat, in coaching, right? And she created the strength of what happens when we build an energetic foundation, and the belief comes in that space, no matter what the evidence is all around us. You create the miracle that the physical world shifts. I know, because I just had a private client that did this, and it was so exquisite to be a part of this unfolding. And within 3 months, her entire life has changed. Every single part of her life has changed for the better, in alignment with a new business, with an amicable and friendly separation, without having to become a part of that system. Because we worked in the energy first. We worked in the wounds first. We cleared those imprints from the cells so that we could actually hold a new belief. We could hold a new roadmap and a new structure to get there. Y'all, this goes very, very deep because this is really stepping into how our microcosm becomes the macrocosm. And then the macrocosm becomes the reality from us. We've been working in it as the macrocosm happening to us. So it's like we got born into this body, into this life, and then our parents and educators and caretakers, they all shared the rules of the macrocosm and basically kept trying to stuff us into that box. And then we got less and less aligned, more and more fractured. And then here we all are out here in dis-ease, in disarray, in these looping struggles, and in this guttural pain of humanity. So when we finally stop believing that these systems that have continued to prove to us over and over and over that they're never going to take us or support us into the wholeness of who we are, into the connection of earth, of soul, of spirit, of alignment, of the power of the present moment, of believing what's possible that we've never experienced before, of doing the deepest soul growth and investment work in these cells, in this highest technology, so that we literally produce the physical miracles from the energetic coherence. When that moves from being a concept to a literal reality in your world, and you start having the lived experience of the miracles that unfold, right? Not the miracles that we've learned about in TV and movies, but the miracles that are so subtle that all of the power comes from being present to them. And that can lead us to a gratitude practice. That can lead us to manifestation, mastery. We are the system. And when we start operating in this kind of magnificence, by doing the embodied transformational work of the struggles, the triggers, the loops, the wounds, the imprints, not only do we stop giving our belief and power to those systems, we stop needing those systems. And one by one, that's how it starts. But with all of the support that we have in consciousness, in guidance, in light right now, in activation of our multidimensional self, this can happen very quickly. And the more of us that literally start operating this microcosm in this world from that space of empowerment, the more it ripples out, the more it changes in light seconds rather than slowly through time. And then it becomes supply and demand, because the less of us that are engaged in and dependent on these systems, the less business they have and the more they have to change, because they're either going to have to adapt in order to survive or they're going to have to fall. So this is what I feel is deeply happening right now with this second full moon in Capricorn. Now I'm recording this on July 14th, which is a day after we had something big happen politically at a rally. And I want you to check in with your belief in that. How much are you engaging now? Because what we will see is a media frenzy of buying your attention off of your fear, off of your division, off of your separation. This is a system that will never, ever take us to balance. It will never offer the space to explore and tap into what unity consciousness actually means. And it will never bring us to this ability to be in abundance consciousness and grow our lives from there. We're waiting for something to happen in our life to feel abundant. That's not how this works. So when you know that you are the very best product that you can ever invest in, when you really do show up to do this work, when you become so wildly intentional with every day, with every experience, with every trigger, with every wound, with every energy that comes into your life, you know that you can move through anything, that you can transform anything, that you can find the higher energy and the next realm and the next support and the higher activation over and over and over. But this is not just a concept. Like, when you actually take this deeply in, you will start seeing the truth of what's playing out. Because now what's going to happen is everybody on all the news channels are going to say the same thing that they do over and over and over. And they're going to keep saying it because as they do that, that's hypnosis. And they continue to hypnotize you into a certain form of belief, a certain category, a certain side. And we are literally paying. Like, this is part of our capitalism. We're paying with our dollars. We're paying with our attention. We're paying with our lives because it's not creating joy. It's not creating ease. It's not creating abundance for us. So I want you to really look at, what am I tapping into and where is it leading me? Is this leading me to a feeling of lack? Is it leading me to a feeling of fear? Is it leading me to a feeling of scarcity? Because you've been told to self-sacrifice. And you've been told that that's part of what you have to do here, is live in this perpetual state of stress and fear. Because these are the systems that we live in. No more. No more. You have to decide no more. And you have to actually jump in to do the work, to not just decide it up here, but to live it in here. Live it in your cells, live it in your heart. You'll know when it becomes embodied because you no longer struggle in there. You no longer have the mind loops and the skepticism. You now have all kinds of time in your day and energy to be the creator. You're not subscribing to what you've been trained as the consumer and the worker. Because when you're a creator, the wholeness of your experience comes in. It's available. It's not only available, it's celebrated, it's wanted, it's invited into humanity, into the physical world. So this situation that happened was so unfortunate, and it's so heartbreaking because another life was cut short too soon. How much longer will we swim in this? How much longer will we continue to give it life? Become the magnificent creator, the magnificent miracle that you are. Become the best version of yourself and live a life that is your birthright to be here to experience. You get to be liberated even with the challenges that come up in life, even with the hardships, even with the grief. You get to experience life in a new way and become a champion for humanity. Stop playing in to what you are now seeing on the stage that it is. This is a game, and our lives have been the pawns in it. If you zoom out, you can really start to see that it's acting. It's not coming from the heart. It's not authentic. It's not embodied. And that's your indication. Use the Capricorn discernment to know this and choose new. Now, tomorrow on the 15th, July 15th, we've got, I'm sure you've heard about it, the Mars Uranus Algol conjunction at 26 degrees of Taurus. Now, it's no surprise that what happened last night on July 13th came with this conjunction, because Mars and Uranus together are going to be a lot of volatility, because Mars is all about external action, reaction, anger, that volatility that I was talking about. And Uranus is surprise, change. It's electrifying. It's electric. It's freedom, liberation. It's something new. And then being in conjunction with the fixed star Algol, Algol is associated with beheading because it can represent the head of Medusa. And it's also a star that comes in and out of view. So it's a star that actually eclipses itself. So it can have the energetic themes of Pluto, which is all about death and rebirth. And Algol's also associated with like the deep feminine. And if we look at the mythology of Medusa, Medusa has a protection energy and a destructive energy. So the destruction is the death, protection can become the rebirth, right? And then, of course, we've got the association with the Cancer energy right now, which is protection of the home, of the heart, of the family, of the feelings, of the emotion. So this is a conjunction that's a big deal. Mars and Uranus come together around every 2 years. And because this is with Algol, you're going to be hearing a lot of people talk about that. I want to highlight the themes that are available to us after this cycle of what we went through, which is liberation and freedom. I've been talking a lot about this because I want you to feel into any experience in your life right now. And can you find liberation energy in it? Does it feel free? And this is where I want you to sit with Capricorn and you decide if this is not feeling liberated for me, if it's feeling stifling, if it feels suffocating, if it feels like I am out of control, like an anxiety, which can come with Capricorn, I want you to use the Mars Uranus Algol conjunction to change it, trust it, move it, find the freedom. Uranus is associated with galactic activation. So this is a great time to be in deep connection with your guides, with your highest self, with your God self energy that's within your cells. And this is in the Taurus energy, which is all about simplicity in nature. Taurus is also about safety, security. Let's come back to Cancer with home. Safety, security. It's about beauty, simplicity, pleasure, sensuality. So always use those themes to actually find the access points of where to go. Now, yesterday when I had this huge epiphany about the new earth structures and what they really are, which is literally us, like we are actually it. We are going to be the miracles in our life that become our physical reality, that we no longer have to tap into those systems. Like, it's so huge. And I'm curious if you're able to hold it. Like, can you hold that timeline and vibration within? Is it a concept for you, or can you start really feeling the belief deep within your body? Let me know in the comments below. So always come back to that high frequency of Taurus themes, of getting so present, getting lost in the sensuality of the abundance all around us. And watch it when you're getting stuck and not wanting to change and not wanting to grow. This literally is our fuel to evolution, which is change, the next iteration of ourselves, and growth. We have to embrace the new us, and we have to believe that we get to be a new version of ourselves in any moment at any time. Because when we hold on to who we've always been and we hold on to those stories, there's only living in a small dimmed light or energy in that space. Okay, so I know that I dropped into quite a bit. I'm sure you're feeling this if you're listening to other astrologers, other mentors talking about this. It's a really big time, and this is a really big deal. And I wanted to tap into what's coming through intuitively and the power of it. And the power of it is that you are the new system. You have to find energetic coherence, and you have to invest in yourself to get there. You'll get there a lot quicker when you make the investments. So all those other investments that you're making in the systems, if you start to look at the real ROI in the becoming of who you are and how you get the support and the environment that you invest in to get you there faster, it's a no-brainer. But most of us are so inundated in the survival energy and the fear of everything going away. And there's not going to be more. There's only lack. There's not enough money. There's not enough clients. There's not enough love. There's not enough relationships. So we keep ourselves in this old structure and system that's not working for us anymore. Because I can tell you this, that for the people that jump off that precipice of lack and scarcity and they make the investment in the mentorships with me, no one has ever regretted it. Their lives have changed profoundly, and they have a new foundation. They have a new roadmap that they are living in their experience. That's what the mentorships do. The high proximity spaces that move over time give you enough evidence and they hold the environment for you for long enough that you don't go back to the old patterns. You don't go back to the old loops. And believe me, you'll try through this time. And that's why it's high proximity, because we keep coming back to the new environment. I keep holding the new environment. I keep helping you explore to get to the root, clear it, and then access the alchemy of the light in the new environment, the new belief, and you live from there. I continue to get amazing messages from those that have graduated from the private mentorship with me and what is opening in their life more and more. The magnetism, the manifestations, like they're pouring in. Capricorn can resist investment outside of what it's already knows in the public and top-down structures. So you've got to bring the Cancer heart that came through and find the space of trust without having the evidence already. That is mastery, because you'll know when you're in abundance and wealth consciousness, because you know that when you start vibrating higher in your frequency, only more will come. I hope that this has all been super helpful for you so far. We are still going to get into the astrology chart. I'm going to show you some of the aspects that are happening right now that are really encouraging us and supporting us and how they're supporting us. So if you are new to this channel, welcome. I am so excited that you found us. Like I said, my name is Lori Reising of therawandwildhearts.com. Please hit that subscribe button. If you can help me grow this channel, I will continue to show up with these raw, vulnerable, sacred truths, because I am not here to be your healer. I am here to be your biggest cheerleader and your support and your guide in what I know is true for you. And I know that you have all of the wisdom, you have all of the magnificence and the sacred knowledge that runs through your cells. And I also know that when you clear the wounds, triggers, imprints, that it alchemizes into your life and you grow in leaps and bounds. That's what I'm here to help you do. So if that sounds good to you, stick around, be a part of this. These are my free messages and activations, but this is a community. It's a collaboration. So help me grow so I can continue to help you grow into the light that you were meant to live from and emanate out in this life, in this time. Now, if you'd like to know more about my programs and offers, like I said, just head on over to my hub at therawandwildhearts.com. If you have any questions, send me a message at Lori@therawandwildhearts.com. I have one space left in my upcoming retreat called the Next Octave. And if you have gotten excited about becoming the new system for yourself, where you no longer give your power away to these systems that want to keep you in survival energy, where you get to create the miracles in your physical world, it's a no-brainer. This investment is your biggest ROI. One other thing that I want to offer for you is my free event, Lead Your Life. We just did this not too long ago, and it's 8 days, and this will literally allow you to come and create the roadmap. It will take you step by step into the revelations and into the space that will crack you open in order to break you free. Let the Mars Uranus Algol conjunction give you the momentum to do this. It's free, literally free for you. And the breakthroughs that people had in this container are magnificent. Let this be your guide into the Capricorn full moon, which is literally a week from today. Okay, let me share the chart now. I know I've been keeping you longer than usual, but this feels not just critical, it feels available. Not only are we at the anaretic point, which is the critical degree in Capricorn, which is where Pluto is going to go back to on September 1st. This is the precursor, because this is what's happening for us personally, right? As we move through and relate to the cycles and seasons of the moon, we individually create what's going to be known collectively. Okay, so here we go. So we've got the moon in Capricorn at 29 degrees here, opposing the sun in Cancer at 29 degrees. And I'd like to say this a new way. The sun in Cancer is illuminating The moon, which is our subjective emotional world, our intuition, how we receive, our public persona, right? Our achievements, our accolades, like how we create the structures of our life. And this is conjunct Pluto. It's an out of sign conjunction because Pluto's at 0 degrees of Aquarius until September 1st. So not only do we have that kind of death and rebirth energy with Algol and the Mars Uranus conjunction that's now out of sign by the time we get to the Capricorn full moon, but it will be at 26 degrees of Uranus on Monday, July 15th. So we've got extra of like, it is time, y'all. It's like, how tired are you of this loop? How tired are you of this struggle that keeps showing itself in different ways in your life? You are the only one that can transform this. And I promise you that you can. The thing is, anything you've experienced in your life, and I know that there are some horrific traumas and tragedies out there, you have the capability and the ability to heal them, to transform them, and to shift the story you have around them, the feeling that you have around them, and the pain that you have around them. This is where it is so important that you do not stop until you find the mentor, the coach, the therapist, the facilitator, whoever it is that you connect with that gets your cells excited. Because again, when we've been forcing ourselves, like this happens in the medical community, where we force ourselves into medical procedures with doctors that we are not matching energetically with. And that is never going to be in the highest state, highest energy, or healing vibration than when we are matching with someone who we can relax with, who we can trust, who we can activate that space of rest, regenerate, and healing through whatever it is that we're doing because of that connection. This is where we have to clean up the energy in our lives. So use Capricorn and that emotional detachment to trust that you can let go and evolve out of certain situations, certain people, and certain energies in your life in order to find the expansion and to move into a soft nervous system, a balance within your life, and a higher frequency where you can access unity consciousness, because from that transcendent place, you can actually then return to that relationship in a new frequency and find a new empowerment in it if it's still meant to be a part of your experience here and now. And not all of them are meant to. And that's okay. We're so used to squeezing the life out of everything and sacrificing ourselves. This is the Capricorn moon to find the roadmap to literally doing it different and declaring that it's going to be different this time. The only other aspect that I wanted to point out is the moon is sextile to Neptune at 29 degrees of Pisces, and the sun is trine to Neptune at 29 degrees of Pisces. So these are really beautiful aspects. We love a trine and a sextile. Very harmonious energy. The sextile, you do want to activate. The trine just offers gifts. It's really amazing. And Neptune is the planet of spirituality. It's the planet of soul. It's the planet of dreams, of boundlessness, of the greatest expanse that you could ever know, which is the universe. So here with the moon in Capricorn and the sun in Cancer, which is heart and structure, we find a fulcrum point of spirit, soul, source, God, dreams, connection, higher guidance. We can find that to take us to the new adaptability and resiliency where we get to be new, do it different, be curious, reveal. We get to like go through the steps, but be available for it to show up differently over and over and over. And every time we come back from our next octave. When we truly alchemize the healing and transformation into our lives. This is where we truly get to the root and we clear it so that the light can integrate into our physical world. And that becomes more of who we are and how we function in the world, no matter how chaotic it gets, because these systems have to go. Literally, these systems have to go. Now, it's not going to happen in a day, right? This is an unfolding. But again, we are the drivers of this energetically. We are the ones that pour into the field. And it just warms my heart how much this is activating in our worlds, because every time I show up on Insight Timer, I've been offering free events every Tuesday night. I hope to see you there. There are people from all over the world tuning in, and we are literally raising the consciousness every single time. We're coming back time and again and again. It's not just for us, it's for the collective. It's for where the planet is going. This is the microcosm that offers the macrocosm. Please believe how powerful you truly are and how much you are needed at this time. All of you, the wholeness of you. Okay, so I'm not going to be doing a card read today because this was a much longer transmission, and I trust that it landed in the way that it needed to, time and all. I'm sending you so much love. Happy Capricorn full moon. And just please continue to use your discernment and literally your truth meter, which is your cells, and notice where your stream of consciousness is, because wherever that goes, your subconscious belief follows and your reality will be created from there, because that's the energy that builds anything in your physical world. So until next time, y'all, don't forget to keep looking up.